Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the latest edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I am Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. Now, if you're watching us on audio, listening to us on audio, please give us a 5-star rating. And if you download this episode and more episodes, if you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and more. I'm thrilled to welcome back this incredible guest for a round 2 interview. As of this recording, she's a singer-songwriter that has 4.3 thousand YouTube subscribers and 22,300 Instagram followers. I'm so honored to have her back. Please welcome the fabulous Annabel Gutherz back to the podcast.
Okay, that was the best introduction I think I've ever had. Thank you so much, Jake, from the bottom of my heart for such an enthusiastic welcome. I am so honored and privileged to be here with you again. It is always such a treat. So I am delighted.
I am so delighted too because, guys, this is Annabel's first appearance back on the podcast in 3 years.
3 years. It's really, in some ways, it feels like it was just yesterday. And then in other ways, I was like, it feels like a lifetime ago. So I am, again, delighted to be here. Jake and I were just talking. I was like, I cannot believe it's been 3 years. But here we are, and grateful to be.
I'm grateful to have you here. So, Annabel, let's get started. So, as everyone knows, it's been 3 years since we last spoke. So, how have you grown as a songwriter and as a recording artist since your last visit?
Oh, such a great question, Jake, as always. I think that my artistry, my songwriting, from a recording artist standpoint, I've grown in so many ways. I would say one of the most prominent ways that I've grown is in honing my craft and in honing my sound. I would say I would say refining my craft and honing my sound. I would say before I had a bit more of like an amorphous sound where I was pulling from like a lot of different genres and just going wherever instinctually I was drawn to go musically. But now I would say I've really developed a sound that feels emblematic of who I am, not only as a person, but as an artist. And so I can write now and create music with a lot more intentionality in a way that feels much more me, so to speak. And so I feel like that's probably one of the greatest ways that I've grown as a songwriter. And I think that is also maybe evident as a recording artist in terms of like when I'm behind the mic, I feel a lot more assured and going, okay, I know what I want to do. I know what I want to say. I know how I want to express that emotionality. And so I think I would say that's like the biggest way is in the intentionality and what I bring when I'm writing a song, when I'm recording a song, and bringing a song out into the world.
Absolutely. That's a great evolution of growth. And I was actually looking back on our interview because we spoke about, it was at the time the news of the Wicked movie was finally come up. So Wicked Part 1. So did you see Part 1? And what are your thoughts and expectations for Wicked Part for good?
I saw Wicked Part 1. I have been changed for good. I was changed for good when I saw, Wicked, the musical on Broadway was the first show that I think I had seen on Broadway ever. And that changed me for good. I think it really instilled that love of musical theater in me and fueled it. And seeing this movie now, all these years later, is so nostalgic and so special. And to be able to celebrate the joy of Wicked, the nostalgia of Wicked, the beauty of Wicked, the music of Wicked, the storyline, just to be able to celebrate that now with sort of the rest of the world, because the movie has made it so accessible to everybody, and to be able to share in that experience with others has been just so unique. And so I absolutely loved it. I cherish the movie. I cherish the play. I think I have not enough words to express, and like I have people who call me adjective lady, and I would run out of adjectives trying to express my love for this movie, my love for the screenplay, just all of it. So I'm absolutely obsessed with Wicked Part 1. I don't know how I've managed to contain myself and my excitement for Wicked Part 2. I've had to not that I've been able to do so successfully, but curb my enthusiasm somewhat because we are still months out. But to say I'm looking forward to it would be a gross understatement. I am bursting to see it.
I'm very excited to see it as well. I gotta say, I'm sorry, spoiler alerts if you haven't seen it, but like I love how they've tied in Adina and Kristen and brought them in. I am so grateful. I was like, yes, when I saw them on screen.
It needed, you know what? I didn't think it needed to happen. It wasn't like something that had come into my mind, but my hat is off. If I was wearing a hat, it would be off to John Chu, who so brilliantly brought them into the movie. Because I mean, they were the original cast, and they were, part of the genesis of Galinda and Elphaba, and how lucky we are to have had them as sort of the inaugural cast and to have them back in this movie. Yeah, it was just from obviously the acting to the set design to the costumes, everything was magical. To me, it's the embodiment of magic. And I cannot speak highly enough of this and the way that it moved me and touched me. I mean, I was sufficiently emotional, thank goodness, I could just hide in a little hoodie and cry my eyes out. I'm like, no one needs to see me like this. But I was deeply moved, deeply touched by it, as so many others have been. It's one of those art forms that just touches you, connects with you, and moves you in all the right ways.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's going to be very interesting because I know they said they wrote two new songs for to be in act two, for being part two, or for good. So it's going to be very interesting about the new songs and then how they weave into the story.
I'm waiting here on bated breath to hear the new material, to see the new part two. It's one of my loves, Wicked. So it's such a treat. It's such a treat for me, and I'm sure for so many other like musical theater lovers, and also just for people who love movies and who love musical movies. This is just it's the pinnacle of greatness. So to say I'm obsessed feels appropriate.
Absolutely. And besides, however, we got to leave the world of Oz behind, and because we got to get back to you, because we're not here to talk about Cynthia or Ariana or Dina or Kristen or John Chu, even though they're fabulous. We're here to talk about you. So we got to get back to our conversation. And recently, some of your original music was used by the American Broadcast Network, CBS, for their Big Ten College American football broadcast. So what was your reactions when you heard the news that your original music was feed into some of their advertisements or even some of their broadcasts?
I was very thrilled, to say the least. It sort of came about. It was a very interesting opportunity. About a year ago, I was, I, like the rest of the world, was sort of watching Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce start to date, and I sort of fell in love with their love story. I thought it was just so sweet and so precious, and I thought it would be fun to write a song from Taylor Swift's perspective for Travis during the time of the Super Bowl. And I sort of posted just a snippet online, and it had a little bit of a viral moment, and I didn't really know what to do with the song because it's not necessarily a fit for my own personal artist career, and it wouldn't necessarily fit with my repertoire. So I didn't feel necessarily comfortable releasing it, but I held on to it for about a year. And when this season of football rolled around, I thought maybe it would have a space somewhere in in their programming to just be featured or to be used in tandem with, visual materials. And so I reached out to a few different networks, a few different music supervisors, and lo and behold, I had this incredible opportunity to write a few songs for CBS. Not necessarily, the song was called Touchdown, and it was, you know, I don't know if that was the best fit for their programming, but I had the opportunity to write a few original songs that were more in the spirit of football, and those got synced with their programming, and it was such a surreal experience to see a song that I wrote paired with such incredible athleticism and high energy performance, and in that context. So yeah, I'm still pinching myself to an extent. I feel so so grateful that to have had that opportunity and to have been able to, you know, bring these songs to fruition with some incredible artists and producers, and to see it synced in that way and used in that way. It just, it, yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but it was when I found out that some of the songs were going to be used, I was rather beside myself with just joy.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, and especially the Kansas City Chiefs with my hometown Kansas City Chiefs, which we'll try next time. However, at least during the years that they had the touchdown, they won another Super Bowl with Taylor Swift. So hopefully
Yes.
there's another one, and like hopefully we'll be able to get Travis. So hopefully we'll be able to get another Super Bowl win, because the thing is, as someone that has grown up with the Chiefs, Annabelle, back in the 90s and early 2000s or through 2000s and early 2010s, we were the laughing stock of the NFL. We only barely won like several games a season.
Really? Okay, see, I have limited knowledge about the Kansas City Chiefs. My knowledge is very present, like current. I know that they were going for, I believe, a three-peat this season, which
Correct.
you know, which would have been historic, but I still think it's amazing that they were in a position to be able to accomplish that. My football knowledge, despite writing for football, is still on the limited side. I'm still in a place of informing myself. So this is very interesting. I did not know that the Chiefs were the laughing stock. They seem like such a brilliant team to me.
They are. But however, Annabelle, the thing is, and like I wish I had my friend Ben Heisler or someone of my friends in the sports world that were here on this podcast, because I'm more of a pop culture entertainment. I'm a Chiefs, and I'm a Chiefs fan. But however, I don't know how to explain football. Now, if we're talking about Canada's Got Talent, yeah, I will talk to you about that. But however, the way football works is not my book.
That makes the two of us. That's okay. I know that there's tackling involved. I know that there are touchdowns involved. I know roughly the scoring. I've been trying to really inform myself. It's definitely, you know, an aggressive sport, I would say, and one that requires great strength, perseverance, determination, and it's definitely quite thrilling to watch. I did tune in for a few games this season and for the Super Bowl too, and I am constantly enamored by the skills of the players and the amount of energy and passion that goes into the game. So it's, again, a joy to watch, a thrill to watch. I'm sorry though about the outcome of the Super Bowl for you as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, but I'm always rooting for them, and I hope that Travis comes. I know that there are talks that he might be retiring, but I hope he comes back next season. I feel like he still has at least one more season left in him. He has so much energy, so much charisma, so much talent, and my instincts telling me he might be returning. I don't know why. I also saw some maybe rumors on Instagram, but I feel like you might be seeing him for one more season.
That's what I figured too. My family and my friends had a long conversation. I've had some conversation. It's like, is he leaving? Is he not leaving? Well, in all honesty, I also said this was maybe his last season. Next year might be his last one. So you and I are on the same page about that, which is great.
Okay, well, Jake, I think I'm going to go with us. I'm going to bet on us, and I'm going to say he's at least returning for one more season. I don't know beyond that, but I think one more because I felt like he was disappointed with how this game transpired, and so I think this might be his penultimate season, and so
Absolutely.
next season's going to be maybe the final.
And maybe he'll dance around that.
Oh my God. Jake, I have to say the segues today, I wasn't prepared for them. You are on fire.
I'm glad I am. Well, this is season 6 after all. I have to step up my game as a podcaster.
Oh, the game's we're in a new stratosphere right now. I mean, when you said, okay, we have to leave Oz, I was like, okay, Jake means business.
Alrighty, and let's talk. And you make business too with your first single of the year as of this recording, Dance Around It. So could you describe the song to my audience?
Yeah. Okay. Another amazing question. Dance Around It is really a song that explores love's paradox and how sometimes love can make us feel like we're flying and sometimes it can make us feel like we're falling. And how sometimes, I mean, love is so beautiful and so cherished and so treasured, and the fear of losing love can be really overpowering, and that's sort of what this song explores through the lyrics. And I try to make it as intimate and as warm as possible, so it feels like, basically a page out of my diary. But that's what it's really about, just trying to hold on to love while it lasts and trying to celebrate and be present with it without fearing the day that it might come to an end.
Absolutely, because love is very complicated these days.
These days and always, love is such a it's a feeling that has a lot of multitudes to it, and so I think that's something that I just explored in this song. It's this song is in the context of a romantic relationship, but I feel like the theme that it explores can sort of be applied, and that paradox can be applied to so many different contexts. It could be even platonic relationships, like friendships. It could be even everyday, something that you're passionate about, something that you do, something that you love, and you're enjoying that, and you could fear, okay, what if one day I'm not afforded the opportunity to do this anymore? So I think it can be applied to so many different areas of our life. But it's definitely one of the most complex of human emotions, I think, that we encounter. And, something that hopefully we all have the chance to experience in all of its glory and all of its gravity.
Absolutely, or many of its shades and levels. Like you could fall in love, fall out of love, reunite. A constant circle.
It's like the circle of life, really. I mean, and life is really all about love. So I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah, 100%. And all the ways that we encounter love, and all the ways that love embraces us and rejects us, and it's definitely a fascinating and complex feeling to explore in songs and in life and in so many different facets.
I agree completely with that. And basically, like, I know that you spoke in your conversation about, like, with making sure that this sound is more singular, like more like on a straight and narrow path. Was this Dance Around like a building block for your next album, or is there more to come?
I would say it was certainly a building block of what's to come. It was one of the first songs that I wrote for this sophomore project, and it felt so intuitive that it almost provided, I would say, a roadmap for the other songs. It was a bit of like a template. Like once we established the sonic palette for it, I was really resonating with it, and so many other people were resonating with it that I had, the honor and privilege of developing it with, and so many people that I'd played it for, that I would say it's a real precursor of what's to come. And I'm really grateful that I had the experience of writing the song early on in this project because I think it was very defining. And so it helped me be, again, sort of work with a bit more focus and with a bit more intention.
And it's always great to have focus because you could do, like, for example, it reminds me so much of like Michael Jackson's Bad and Dangerous, because like he had in like Thriller, like he had with Bad, for example, Dirty Diana, that was a rock track out of nowhere because everything else was like basically like pop R&B.
Absolutely.
So it's like
Absolutely.
it's better to have like something like that where it's like something consistent versus them like bouncing around, because we've been seeing a lot with this throughout this decade and the past and late 2020, late 2010s about this genre blending.
Yeah, and I think that there's something so beautiful in that like artists can explore different genres and different styles. And I feel like I sort of did that on, my first record, where I was just sort of getting my musical sea legs underneath me. And for this one, I really wanted to create a body of work that felt cohesive as a whole, as a unit. So you could listen like one after the next, and you can know they are housed in the same home, and that they're like, if the songs were siblings, that they would be related. And so I really wanted that to come through with this next body of work, which is why I wanted it to be more focused and more intentional, and to all be sort of derived from a similar place. And it feels like what I'm resonating most with now, as an artist, as a person, is what I enjoy listening to sonically. So I wanted to create music that I would want to listen to. And so again, this song, like you said, it was such an imperative song in helping me get that focus and write not more quickly, but I would say, yeah, like it helped me sort of streamline my process, which was really beneficial.
It's always beneficial with streamlining the process, because the thing is, if one cog is out of place, if one tune is out of tune, it throws everything off.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. So that's exactly right.
Alrighty, so we got to talk about, like, because as I brought up the challenge of genre blending, what have been some of the other challenges that you face staying in this ever evolving and changing music industry, and how have you overcome those obstacles?
Okay, oh my goodness. I would say, I mean, being in the music industry, as anyone will tell you, but like any industry, I actually feel like you just have to like really commit and develop your work ethic and be ready to work each and every day. But I would say one of actually my greatest challenges, just for me, has been more so on the health side. I sort of have grown up with vocal nodules, which is something that I'm always managing, and ensuring that my vocal health is really as great as it can be despite the nodules, which, with a little bit of research, I'll say we think it could have been a bit of a congenital thing. So that's something that I'm always very wary of and very cognizant of, and trying to accommodate. But actually last year I had part of my thyroid removed, and I know. And part of that surgery, one of the risks is actually like damage to your vocal cords, because there are these nerves called the laryngeal nerves that run through your thyroid, that, if those are damaged, they could cause vocal paralysis, or really, I think vocal paralysis is probably the most extreme, but it could also do just like a bit of damage in terms of the rehabilitation of your voice. Might not come back the same way. I am so grateful for the doctors that, helped me through that health journey, and I am, healthy and well, and thank God my voice was okay. But that was definitely a challenge that I needed to work through and overcome. And so every day that I wake up with a voice that I'm able to use in the way that I want to is like truly one of the greatest blessings of my life. So, but that was one of the greatest challenges, and I'm grateful for all the support from like family, friends, and of course, like I said, the doctors who who really I owe so much to, because they salvaged my voice. But that was, again, one of the obstacles. And so now I'm just so grateful to be able to do what I love day in, day out. And yeah.
Well, I gotta say this. I am so happy that your voice is back, and you're
Thank you
able
so
to
much.
go through the ordeal and everything, and like you're able to at least get back to singing. Because the thing is, if we can't talk, if we can't sing, it's so hard, and like it's definitely challenges our life, because we can communicate, we could through the written word or everything, but not expressing it is like awful. But like, thank goodness you're able to get your voice back and come out of this headstrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. And I think, like, yeah, absolutely. Again, just so grateful, because, like you said, like, being able to express yourself vocally is, I don't know, it's such a cornerstone part of sort of being human, and especially, somebody who's passionate about singing and expressing themselves through music. Um, it was definitely a challenging and very scary time. So yeah, to be on sort of the other side of it, to be here with you, yeah, and I don't take a moment of it for granted.
And I'm glad you don't, because there's certain artists that are in our industry that do have that, if God forbid something happens, that do take advantage of that. It feels like.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, yeah, waking up every day, just coming from a place of gratitude, um, is sort of, I try and ground myself in that energy every day, to remind myself. And I think sometimes when you're going through something hard, like it's sort of like when you have a cold and you're like, oh my God, my nose is, and then you're like, oh, I wish my nose wasn't blocked, or, like something, as it could be as small as that. And then so when you're healthy, you're like, oh yeah, this is what it. So I try to, always remind myself of how just, lucky I am. Like, just, knock on wood, thank God, just to be healthy. It's truly, that's like the greatest gift. So, yeah, I'm still pinching myself.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, have you thought about your dream collaborations? Like, have you thought about, okay, now that I'm on this path, I want to bring on artists and producers that could come on this path with me, or musicians with me?
Oh my gosh, that list would be so extensive. I don't even know where I would start, Jake. Honestly, I would be between I'm like Steve, my mind immediately goes to Stevie Nicks, because I am I just revere her artistry and Fleetwood Mac and the music that they created and that she wrote and that she created and that she's a part of. So Stevie Nicks is always one of the top, for me. I've been listening to so much Gracie Abrams lately. I would love to collaborate with her. Um, Phoebe, oh my God, I was like, there's just too many. I'm like, I'm going to become a broken record very imminently. I was like, Harry Styles. I love Harry Styles. I love his artistry too. Again, the list is rather, Alicia Keys. I love Alicia Keys. Definitely. Stylistically, I'm sure I differ from all of these sort of incredible acts, but yeah, basically, I think the list is too long. It's a great question, and I wish I could consolidate an answer for you. And I realize, like, as I'm talking, I'm just going to end up listing. It's going to be a deluge of artists, but I would be honored to work with any of the ones I just shared, and any of the ones in my mind right now that I'm not even expressing, because I'm like, once I get started, I don't think there's going to be putting a stop to me.
Well, luckily you have me here, and basically you'll be able to. I think you made some great choices, especially with Stevie and Alicia and Gracie Abrams. Especially Gracie's having her moment right now, so I definitely could see you guys doing a collaboration in the future.
Oh my gosh, Jake, I don't even have the words. That would be amazing. Even just the thought of it, I find myself rendered speechless. So I would be overjoyed beyond measure.
Alrighty, so we gotta start winding down our conversation, my friend. So, Annabelle, where can my audience find you on social media, and where can they find your new music? And find your music, of course.
They can find me anywhere. You name it, I'm on it. So for social media, Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, I'm there. I'm there. And I would say I think my handle across the board is at Annabel Gutherz. That's at ANNABELGUTHERZ. And then in terms of streaming, it's very similar. Likewise, you name it, I'm on it. We've got Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon. Across the board, Annabel Gutherz. Same spelling, Annabel, ANNABEL, Gutherz, GUTHERZ. And yeah, that's me.
Alrighty, Annabelle. Alrighty, guys. So if you miss an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, visit our channels on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Spreaker. Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Now, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And guys want to see my takes on Annabelle's music and want to listen to our new our old conversation, visit jakes-shake.com, the website that started it all, jakes-shake.com, for more interviews, articles, and music reviews. Annabelle, it was such a pleasure seeing you.
Oh, Jake, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me. As always, it's such a treat to get to chat with you. And yeah, it's just such a pleasure. So thank you.
You are so welcome. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow. Until next time, have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.